Hello and welcome to etbfsi.com. My name is Amol Dete and I'm in conversation with Vivek Belgavi from PwC. Hi Vivek, welcome on the show.
Thanks, Amol. Good to see you again.
Good. So to begin with, there are very important discussion points that I have for you specifically. The specific question that I have is, the Prime Minister has announced a package of 20 lakh crore. The Finance Minister has already decoded that and actually told us how much will be for the MSME, how much will be for NBFC, and what kind of chunk will be there for the financial institutions. I would like you to tell us, how can fintech leverage from whatever has been given to the financial sector by the Finance Minister?
Understood. I think fintech is the sector and the industry, and when we talk about fintechs, we will include all categories of fintechs, whether I'm a digital payments fintech, or I'm on the neo banking side, I'm on the
Right.
credit side. Uh, they the fintech business itself was predicated on bridging the unmet needs on the last mile. And if you see fintechs across the board, they
Right.
have played the role of using technology and consumerizing it and bridging the last mile connect. And a fair bit of constituency of fintechs includes the segments which we would consider vulnerable in the COVID crisis today. This would include
Right.
let's say, the gig economy workforce. It would include MSMEs, Kirana stores. A lot of their payments and credit and other needs were being supported by fintechs, were playing some role. In some cases, they were sourcing business from them and getting the banks and NBFCs to lend in the back end. In some cases, they were giving them POS solutions. So there are relevance there. Now, as we talk about these stimuli measures right now, which is again the goal is to reach the same segment. I think for them, we should be
Right.
leveraging them as the last mile connectors who know them, who have been relevant to them, and who will ensure that the benefit reaches the right person. So there would be a critical role they would play. Second is a lot of direction is not just quantitative but also directional. If you see from the stimulus launch, that uh, the whole concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat really talks of how do we drive more efficiencies within the ecosystems. How do we ensure that we have marketplace platforms where services can get procured and those get linked with, let's say, cash flow based financing options. So that's another very important role for the directional guidance which the government has given. We are aware that trades and few of those platforms do exist right now. But in my view, cash flow financing as more and more economy, and we can agree that economic activity will come down, has come down, but it is not going to become zero. There
Right.
is going to be some economic activity, and it would really grow as the different zones open up. And but we are sure that the shape of that economic activity would be a little different. We would want to be safe. We would want to use digital wherever as possible, which is actually great news for fintech because as parts of economies start getting digitized, those are the exact hooks that we would need as financial services to plug into to underwrite their data, support that data, support investments around it, give credit around it. So then it becomes part of the formal tech ecosystem where fintechs and also the digital banks and banks who are digital first have a big opportunity to play. So I think we should look at the stimuli in those two respects. One is the financial part of the stimuli, where yes, as a last mile connector, they would have a role to play. The second is more like directional nature around cash flow financing and few of those products, which will start becoming very important in the present times.
Quite interesting and very meaningful. But again, here I have a very important question. And in fact, many fintechs are absolutely worried about two things. One is whether they are going to have a sustainable model in future.
Mhm.
And second is about whether the angel investors or VCs will pump in money into their business. So obviously, investment part I will take it later. But when I look at the banks or NBFCs or even large corporates and the most of the industries are going through a lot of slowdown, are going through a cash flow management, are going through a cash crunch. Under these circumstances, what is that you think will drive the fintechs? Because ultimately, there are startups that started just business very recently, and they're very new uh, into the world. So, what will actually drive them going ahead?
We can't have one answer for all because right now there are fintechs in, for example, the investment space who have been attracting a lot of attention because people are at home. It's not that they would have a mindset to invest, but they would have a mindset to rebalance portfolio, look at opportunities, things like that. Investment management has seen more interest.
Right.
InsurTech has seen a lot more interest as people are worried about insurance and health and safety and things like that. Uh, the
Mm.
impacted ones are payments and lending, and let me just address both of them separately. Uh, Payments actually is more straightforward
Sure.
because as the new economy takes shape around where we are right now, payments has to follow it. The new economy has to be digital first, or at least there has to be a digital leg even to the classical physical problems. And payments thrives in those situations, right? So it has to adapt itself into new flow of money, if you may, right? And it has positioned quite well there. And let's also remember that the journey of all payment players to move more into offline and to create more holistic
Mm.
solutions for SMEs and merchants are already underway, which had taken the shape of POS-based solutions and
Right.
others. You would see those kind of plays getting accelerated. You would see synergies between that and commerce coming in. Probably hyperlocal will get another level of boost as cross-border movement of goods will remain have some friction as we come out of this crisis, right? So there are a lot of opportunities there which will come up. Of course, some of the opportunities will go down because there are some certain spends which have gone down. Your travel spend has gone down, things like that, right? So clearly there's an impact, but there are some areas which will open up as well. Lending is a more difficult case because there are pressures on both sides, both on the
Right.
supply side as well as the demand side. I do think at this point, government and the industry should make uh, more provisions or at least give them more level playing field and opportunities for availing funds. And I would include even UCBs in that segment. That if we can
Right.
give them, because a lot of the vulnerable segment, if you truly ask, a lot of them are being serviced by these players, right? So if on one side the vulnerable
Mm.
segment is has got a moratorium, and on the other side they do not have the same cushion, we are just defeating the purpose, right? We might as well strengthen this last mile, which is very close to the vulnerable segment. Ensure that for the right cause, the funds are available. And we have to remember that regulator also over past 2 3 years has strengthened its RegTech and SupTech capabilities. They are able to now do database audits
Right.
and checks and balances, right? So we have to keep faith in that system
Mm.
and say that whoever
Mm.
is servicing the last mile within the financial services domain should get, let's say, a fair access to
Mm.
funds and opportunities as they supply the demand. And
Mm.
the second, though, which is a little more difficult for many lenders, would be in many of their cases, they will have to pick their new customer segments because there are, and you have to follow reports done by better industry analysts like CRISIL on the rating side, who have a clear view of which industries will rebound faster and which will rebound slower, and proactively change your
Right.
allocations, right? And be relevant into a segment where
Mm.
let's remember that even in this new economy, the demand is going to be there, and some areas probably it is in the fintech space. The demand is going to be for that small farmer suddenly whose produce to home is acceptable, who had a lot of challenge in beating the market
Mm.
earlier, but today a lot of the small farmers across all, let's say at least tier one towns and cities, are seeing business where they can do
Mm.
transportation, they can service the customer directly. There are hyper local platforms coming up who will do the delivery.
Right.
So there is opportunity coming up in newer areas that one will have to move to. EdTech is very, very promising. Telemedicine is very promising. So overall in the economy, there are a lot of other digital
Mm.
initiatives which will pick up, and as fintechs, I think we'll have to follow that curve.
Okay, so when edtech, telemedicines, and all these, even agri-tech, and all these models are, going to evolve and revolve, considering the current situation, what kind of partnerships do you think fintech should have with them? And what are the changes that you think fintech should make in their existing business models? Because perhaps the merchants are not going to weigh the context the same way they used to do earlier because there is at least some gap in the business transactions now. The customer acquisition cost will be different going ahead. So, two things. One is what kind of business models do you see evolving with the new segments and how fintech should change themselves going ahead?
So if we just pick up a chapter from the existing playbook, and if we go back to probably 4 5 years when alternative lending or digital lending was just picking up, the first wave of it really came
Right.
behind all the merchants who are supplying to e-commerce platforms. Right? So if you go back to the starting point of many digital
Right.
lenders, they basically said, well, Mr. Merchant, you're already on this Amazon, Flipkart, or whichever platform ecosystem. And since you're supplying there, we can see your
Hmm.
history. And from the
Hmm.
platform side, we also have a decent sense of what the demand is going to be. We do think we can, you may not be currently included or you may not get easy access to credit today, but let me be the Neo Growth, the
Right.
Capital Float, or Lending Card, any of these companies, and play that role, right? So that playbook of running on top of a digitized business chain is one of the classic chapters of the fintech
Hmm.
playbook. I think we'll just have to do that a lot more. Uh, so if I'm let's say a Practo or a similar digital health insurance player, suddenly I've got a lot more data about my doctors, what appointments they have, what specialization they have. And looking at their business, if
Right.
I would want to extend a working capital loan to, let's say, expand my clinic because suddenly I can't see 10 people there because of distancing, I can seat only 3 people, right? So cases like
Hmm.
that are actual needs on the ground, which can get met by a fintech player if that
Right.
whole phase. So those kind of partnerships already are in place, and there are many. So if you look at Ola Money, Ola and Acco on insurance. So I think those playbooks have been there, but you will see a lot more of these. I'm just pointing, saying that we now need to adapt that playbook to move behind this new people who are getting included in these digital platforms.
Okay. And one more, specifically question about the outlook. There were times, in fact, when India had more deals and investments compared to China in few quarters, very, very recently. And, India gave a tough competition to many other countries in the world in the number of fintechs, in the number of innovation, and also the business models. Going ahead specifically, not in short term like 3 to 6 months, but 6 to 12 or 12 to 18 months. What is the outlook that you see for Indian fintechs? Will we grow and grow with the same speed that we had, or will there be a speed breaker?
I would be cautiously optimistic on this, and which is a rare view to have nowadays. But the reason for that is last 2 months, we have seen a lot of investments happening in this space.
Right.
You might say that, well, those decisions were taken earlier, but they were still agreed to be concluded during these times, right? So, secondly, what everyone agrees is COVID has been probably the biggest lever towards digitization. And I'm not talking just about large enterprises, but really at the last mile itself. If your vegetable vendor today now becomes, it says that, boss, it actually is better for me and my family if I don't take cash and take that small value payment using a UPI or a wallet or whatever digital payment method I would want to use. It's really a change in mind shift which is coming in, and in that kind of a change in mind shift, and keep in mind this other thesis that probably a lot of things will come back to local, like this Atmanirbhar Bharat will start probably dovetailing back to an Atmanirbhar Mohalla and saying that how do I, and because small is beautiful, it is, you can protect it, you will be, and these things will evolve, and all those places there are opportunities that one can effectively tap into and feel bullish about. It would also be seen as an opportunity for consolidation because there would be some attractive valuations out there in some cases, especially if there are cash flow pressures and liquidity issues which might be out there. So I would think I would be cautiously optimistic. The landscape is set for a fintech or a tech fin to do well. Economic activity has come down clearly. There's no doubt about that. But opportunity is there more than ever. But just time will tell. But we are seeing that people are placing their bets, and I would argue that there would be more bets and consolidations happening going forward.
Okay. Can you, I'm done with my questions, but since you mentioned about the consolidation, we have been talking a lot about that. And obviously that happens when the industries are growing. Any specific, peg you have on the consolidation side? Because we saw a lot of consolidation that happened in the payment space. I mean, I really started with wallets, payments, and now everybody is shifting to credit. So what kind of consolidation do you see going to happen in fintech space?
Tough to, I can give the framework, but tough to pick out a space per se,
Okay.
because this time one of the key, now I understand this is the only driver, but a key driver is going to be liquidity. And
Correct.
frankly, even with fintechs, two fintechs in the same segment, everyone's cash positions can be very different, right? And at this point,
Right.
fresh disbursements are not happening as much anyway. So outflow is not a big concern. People are focusing on collections per se and things like that. So liquidity is the key angle from which you would look at it. Is there a burn rate which they are sustaining right now? Are there liabilities they owe for which they don't have cover? Like those factors will really drive this conversation. That push factor is going to be a lot more active than the pull factor. I would think I would see more of strategic investments as well, where folks taking a punt of because this is a time where ecosystems are going to become critical, public, private, multi-enterprise, because the resources are scarce and a lot of the common intermediaries and supply chain participants, if you may, are really common across many businesses. So I
Right.
would put my punt on that as well as a little bit more coalition initiative or a few corporates coming together taking a certain initiative. Like those things can also see a bit of an upswing.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for watching.